Lockhart Perspective. Hello and welcome to the Lockhart Radio Podcast. I am your host, Felicia Lockhart. Today we're looking at two stories specifically. The United States is sending defense air systems into Israel despite Iran's warning that they should not do that, especially as it relates to sending in troops. And America is doing just that, just a few to be able to man the system, according to the Pentagon. We're also going to be looking at the United Auto Workers. There's a specific member who's become very vocal as it relates to what will happen to the United Auto Workers if Vice President Kamala Harris is voted in as the president. So the first story that we're looking at, obviously, is the United States will send a terminal high altitude area defense battery to Israel, along with the troops needed to operate it, the Pentagon said on Sunday, even as Iran warned Washington to keep American military forces out of Israel. Major General Pat Ryder, Pentagon spokesman, said in a statement that the Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin authorized the deployment of the THAAD battery at the direction of President Joe Biden. He said the system will help to bolster Israel's air defenses following Iran's ballistic missile attacks on Israel in April as well as October. The delivery of the sophisticated missile defense system risks further inflaming the conflict in the Middle East, despite widespread diplomatic efforts to avoid an all-out war. The Iranian warning came in a post on X with their foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, who noted the earlier reports that the United States was considering deployment. Israeli forces and Hezbollah fighters in Lebanon have been clashing since October of 2023. Late last month, Israel launched a ground invasion into Lebanon. Israel is widely believed to be preparing a military response to Iran's October 1st attack when it fired roughly 180 missiles into Israel. In a brief exchange with reporters before leaving Florida on Sunday, President Joe Biden said that he agreed to deploy the THAAD battery to, quote, defend Israel. Biden spoke at MacDill Air Force Base in Tampa, Florida, after making a quick visit to see the damage caused by Hurricane Milton and meet with first responders as well as residents and local leaders. Ryder, in his statement, said the deployment underscores the United States' ironclad commitment to the defense of Israel and to defend Americans in Israel and any further ballistic missile attacks by Iran. It was not immediately clear where the THAAD battery was coming from or when it will arrive. Lieutenant Colonel Nadav Shoshani, an Israeli army spokesman, declined to provide any timeline for its arrival, but thanked the United States for its support. The U.S. deployed one of the batteries to the Middle East, along with additional Patriot battalions to bolster protection for the U.S. forces and the region late last year after the October 7, 2023 attack on Israel by Hamas militants. Ryder also said that the United States sent a THAAD battery to Israel in 2019 for training. It is also not unusual for the United States to have a limited number of troops in Israel, which the United States considers a key regional ally. There generally has been a small number of forces there consistently, as well as a routine rotational deployments for training and exercises. The THAAD will add another layer to the Israeli already significant air defenses, which include separate systems designed to intercept long-range, medium-range, and short-range threats. Israel recently retired its U.S.-made Patriot system after they've used it for almost decades, for a very long time. According to an April report by the Congressional Research Service, the Army has 7 THAAD batteries. Generally, each consists of 6 truck-mounted launchers, 48 interceptors, radio and radar equipment, and it requires 95 soldiers to operate. The THAAD is considered a complementary system to the Patriot, but it can defend a wider area. It can hit targets at ranges of 150 to 200 kilometers, and it's used to destroy short range, medium range, and limited intermediate range ballistic missile threats that are either inside or outside of the atmosphere. The United States Defense Agency is responsible for developing the system, but it is operated by the Army. An eighth system has been funded and ordered and is expected to be in the field sometime next year. Now, the THAAD system is really, I don't know if anybody would consider that an act of war, but I think that according to what Iran is saying, that's exactly what they consider it. So let's just keep our, prayers and our thoughts in the right direction for all involved. Now, the next story that we're looking at is the United Auto Worker members saying that Harris is an existential threat to the auto industry. And Auto Workers for Trump founder Brian Panbecker said Saturday on Newsmax TV's America Right Now, that the United States auto industry is going to face existential threat if Vice President Kamala Harris is elected. The host of the show, Tom Basil, said, "Why does your union leadership believe that a Harris presidency would be better for your industry and your workers than 4 more years of President Trump?" Panbecker responded, "Because they'll keep lining the pockets of our corrupt union bosses. That's the only reason I could think of." And he continues with, "I can tell you from my own experience, 36 years in the auto industry, 11 for the Chrysler Corporation and 25 for the Ford Motor Company, that the membership, rank and file, the people on the shop floor do not support Kamala Harris. I know that for a fact." He says, "Because I do rallies outside of the auto plants every week during the election cycle. And I talk to the workers," he says, "that right now the support on the shop floor is for Donald Trump and JD Vance, and it's about 65 to 70%. He added, "They think they're smarter, that they're elites, and that they should tell the membership what to do, not the other way around. But in the United Auto Workers, we're facing an existential threat. He says, if we allow Kamala Harris to become president, we're going to lose our industry and our livelihoods." And that's possibly because she has already vowed by 2030 to make sure that she's put everything in motion to have everything electric. You let me know down below what you think in the comments. And thank you so much for tuning in. For Headlines with a Voice, I am Felicia Lockhart, and this has been the Lockhart News Brief. Lockhart Perspective.